Hello, today is October 15th, 2016. My last call said I had a MEJT target of 21.2752. I said unless we gapped over this high, we should see this price and potentially a lot more. I said I wouldn't like it if we gapped over the high, and I didn't like it, but it doesn't really change things in the long run. As always, having a strong gap in the undesired direction puts this price target out of reach often in its preferred time frame, but it prints sooner or less anyway. During the day, MEJT gave a buy. Here's the target. It was hit. It said this drop was false and that prices would return to the line, which they did. No new MEJT targets. Let's go over the short-term first and then look at the long-term picture. We have conflicting indicators which usually indicate a gap and a quick move outside of the day's range, although it doesn't have to be in the same direction as the gap. We have gapping up, hitting a new high and dropping all day long, particularly on a Friday. This tends to follow through on Monday, and the usual expectation is the drop continues. What complicates the issue is we have a wall into the close along with a Hobson close at the low of the day. This really can represent panic selling by the amateurs, and if so, we should have a gap up when we reopen. I think regardless of what direction we get the gap, much lower prices are coming. Let's go over the reasons. First of all, the FOMC announcement was at 21.4385. The highest we hit since the announcement was 21.79.99. We should trade under this price by at least as much as we traded over it. That means we should trade under 21.08. I've seen a lot of chat on the internet saying how this was a major low and the new high is coming. I respectfully disagree. Anyone who thinks new highs are coming should take a look at how breadth has started to tank. The major call is that we've been declining in 5s and rallying in 3s. This is your ABC. The way I count things, this high at 21.79.99 should not be broken. This breaks up neatly into an ABC with the low of B at the midpoint of the range. Another way to look at things, I don't know why this won't let me move it. It usually behaves. Another way to look at things is here's your A, here's your B, and there's your C, and that should hold. We've now traded under the 1x2 Gann fan long enough to expect for this to hold too, and the next stopping point is often the 1x1 Gann fan line. We have a number of lower price targets, which I expect to see print before any rally takes place. In addition to the FOMC target, we have MEJT targets at lower levels. We have too many of them to expect them to stay unfilled forever. This spike low should be retested. We have a low much lower than this low in futures, and that should be seen again too. That's the one I just showed. There are any number of ways to count this, but all of the counts have us declining in 5s and rallying in 3s. It's possible that we just completed wave blue 2 here, dropped to green 1. We have resistance right at these Fibonacci levels. There are any number of ways to count this. If that's A and that's a B, this really could be the end of 2. There's a Fibonacci relationship between A and C. If that is, it's possible that this is A, B, C to end the 2. It's possible this is A, B, and if we go up, that would be A, B, C. Any one of those things are possible. But I can't find any way to count 5 waves down like this and come up with a positive scenario going ahead. We are pretty close to completing wave green 2. That should leave us to wave green 3. We should have a wave 3 decline of multiple degree. I look for much lower prices starting very soon with the possibility of a collapse. If we trade over the 2179.99 price, then the whole thing becomes extremely suspect and the counts fall apart. So that's the risk, maybe 2% higher than where we are now, maybe 2.5% higher. But I think we're going down. Call for Monday is a gap open is very likely. Quickly trading out of the range is likely. They don't have to be in the same direction, but regardless of what happens, a big drop is coming, and before too much longer we should be much lower, and that's today's call.